My name is Dr. Michael Lechuga, and I'm a professor at the University of New Mexico in the Communication and Journalism Department. I'm also the founder of the Multi-User Virtual Environment Lab, or the MOVE Lab. Reconnections asks a very simple question. Is it possible to build social connection when you don't actually see or talk to anybody? We think the answer is yes. In fact, Reconnections builds an entire virtual island in which users will move through in order to do just that, to try to find one another's traces as they build collaborative environments together.
In this 3-level virtual environment, 4 players are spawned onto an island, each player starting in a different quadrant of the environment. The players are presented with a series of tasks leading to the inner sanctum of the island. The tasks change from individual ones to tasks that require 2 players to a cooperative team task. At each level, players choose a mode of task completion that either benefits themselves individually or benefits the ecosystem. These choices will affect the player's experience of the environment and on their ability to connect with others, progress through the levels, and complete the next tasks.
And when we made this creation, we wanted our participants to be able to explore in a virtual environment, to also interact with that virtual environment by completing tasks. And those tasks were then completed to show the impact that they would have on the virtual environment. However, as a guide, we thought that our participants would need someone to help direct them on where to go and how to complete these particular tasks. And so that's how we came up with Babs. And Babs is essentially like the visual representation of the environment. So Babs not only serves as a guide, but also serves as kind of a teacher to our participants and a teacher to us all, really.
We applied insights from Indigenous ways of knowing to the design of the virtual environment. For example, players are faced with a choice to either act in ways that benefit themselves as an individual or benefit the ecosystem and thus the group as a whole. Another design element is that players will be unable to see each other's avatars. The presence of another player can only be reflected in the colorful, shimmering traces that are left behind once a player decides to make a decision that benefits the ecosystem. Through these design decisions, we've created an opportunity to reflect on our legacy as humans beyond our individual selves, asking, what do we leave behind for others to interact with? If players succeed in completing all the tasks, the player's floor level in the virtual environment will rise, creating a floating sensation and allowing them to see the entire island and the traces that all 4 have left on the environment. There is a likelihood that the game doesn't always end well, which reflects the nature of living in a world with others who don't share the same attitudes towards the environment. While the diversity of applications for VR has expanded its use across demographics, this isn't necessarily reflected in an account of who is making these environments. Reconnections is the work of a team of faculty, staff, and students from across 3 universities, all of whom are committed to the mission of using Indigenous epistemology to change the way we experience virtual worlds, and creating ethical stewards of our physical world.
I am Bobby Laudeman, the lead programmer for the Extended Reality for Learning Lab at California State University, San Bernardino. Our lab is the primary developer of the game. The lab is a space where faculty, students, and staff come together to imagine teaching, learning, and research with the newest technologies. Here, we use the Unreal Engine to create VR learning experiences for our campus and our academic partners. The lab employs undergraduate students under my direction for every game development project. Students learn from the lab team, from each other, and from faculty members who do research in the lab. Reconnections is the most complex project we've attempted so far. Our team includes 2D, 3D, and animation student artists, a videographer, and several student programmers. What's important is that the students get hands-on experience with game design. I have the students all work together on these projects and collaborate often so that students from every discipline get to see the workflow of the other members of the team. This gives them a broad understanding of the game development process so they can be better prepared to handle issues when merging each other's changes. The students learn by working on something exciting, but also develop their expertise and therefore get an edge on the job market. We meet with the MOVE Lab team every other week to refine the game ideas, discuss the concept art, and demo parts of the game. All of the development for this project would have been very difficult without Unreal Engine. Unreal has a lot of templates that provide an idea of what is good practice and all of the possibilities when using a powerful game engine. We are able to create prototypes of our designs using blueprints and then teach computer science students how to convert these blueprints into the C++ equivalent. Even transferring models with animations created in Blender is seamless, Unreal gives us extra control with animation blueprints and control rigs, which allows us to get the exact look that we want out of our environment.
Working on the Reconnections project was beneficial because we learn all of these things in our computer science classes, but we don't really see how they apply, and they don't really cover everything. So working on this project, I was able to work with a game engine such as Unreal, and working on particle systems, learning about networking, learning about being considerate, about accessibility.
As an XReal student, this project has helped me a lot by giving me experience that I didn't have before we started, and it also kind of sets me up for the industry itself. It kind of guides me through the processes of how stuff is done, and also just gives me stuff to put on my portfolio and resume as well.
We expect Reconnections to enjoy broad appeal in ways that we think could open up the VR industry, and we're already working on a list of future applications and contexts for this project.
Reconnections hopes to change the way users of virtual technologies interact with their virtual environments, hopefully learning lessons about ways we can interact differently with our natural environments. We're hoping that Reconnections can be part of school curriculums, museums, or even like media literacy programs at universities. So it's something that we hope will reach a large number of people, ultimately with the goal of changing people's attitudes towards the natural world.